Yes, ma'am.
Right. Sure. So, as per block 2, so we are going to start with uh, organs of speech, classification of sounds, that is consonants. See, in the organs of speech itself, you will get to see what are, the speech sounds. Okay, there are 26 letters of alphabet, and then out of 26 letters, we are getting 44 sounds. Now, 44 sounds, what are they? Like consonants and vowels, how are they classified? Then you will have word accent in English and intonation in English. Okay, word accent and intonation, I'll be taking it, but I think till 8th unit, I'll be uh, doing a recap. Okay, so first and foremost, sound production, right? To learn a language, sound production, and for which you have to learn phonology. Now, most of the sounds in other languages will not be the same as those in your native language. Of course, you all agree with it, isn't it? When you look into the phonemic level, every language has a different kind of pronunciations, isn't it, for a word? Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So phonology, it's a study of sounds in language and which focuses on phonetics and phonemics. Okay. So phonetics is like, which describes language sounds. Now phonemics is, analyzes the way sounds are arranged in a language. Now then we did organs of speech and their functions. So in this organs of speech, we have one is the articulatory system, then the phonatory system, okay, then the acoustic system. Then we were, the thing is in articulatory, how the sounds are produced, okay. Then in phonatory, how, where and all it is being produced, how the sound actually is, emitted, is actually produced. Then when it comes to acoustics, it's like the auditory, how the other person perceives the sound. So we are not concerned about how it is perceived, but basically how the sound is produced and which are all the organs which articulate the sound process. Okay. So in organs of speech, we learnt about the, the teeth, the upper palate, the hard alveolar ridge. Then we have the tongue. Then there is larynx, which is also called vocal cords. Okay. Then the lungs. Then we have the volume. Okay. And the soft palate and the hard palate. Then the, the lips again. These are all important organs of speech. They are all useful for articulation of sound. Now, these are the three areas we just now I told you. Lungs, which is like, pulmonic. That is why this mechanism of speech in human being is called as pulmonic aggression. Eggression, aggression. Okay, pulmonic because the air is gushing out from the lungs. It pushes out air, right? From the larynx, larynx is nothing but it's a voice box in our, throat. The voice box which is located, and the vocal cords, they vibrate to produce the sound, which is in the larynx. So the lungs air pushes out and it passes through the larynx, vocal cords or the voice box. Then the above vocal cords, that is, which comes into the vocal tract, above of it, it is your oral cavity. Okay. And they are produced as recognizable speech sounds. Okay. Now, when the air, and now this is how the articulation takes place. One second. One second. There's a technical issue here.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon. So here it goes. Uh, the air passes through the larynx and comes up towards mouth or the nose. The sound is produced. Now, as a whole, sound is produced in somewhere in vocal tract. Now, what is a vocal tract? Where the oral and nasal cavity plus the vocal cords plus the larynx. All this, the entire thing is called a vocal tract. Okay. Now, phonetic symbols are enclosed within square brackets. Now, yesterday somebody tried to check me saying that it's not square brackets, ma'am. It is slashes. Yes, of course. Phonemic representations are in slashes, whereas phonetic symbol is always in a bracket. You can cross check if you want to. Okay. Yeah. Next, it is the same thing. How the sound which is produced, which is called as consonants, so-called consonants, or for that matter, any speech sounds. If at all the lips are involved, it is called bilabial or it is called labiodental. Then actually, if you can look at the number which is marked on the figure, as well as you can see what is it going in. Like for example, bilabial, you can see it is pointing out lower and the upper lip. Okay. When you say labiodental, the lower lip and the teeth, it is pointing out. Can you see that? Is that clear? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. So if you can see the figure, fourth one, it is alveolar, post-alveolar and all. Okay, we'll have another slide of this. Right. Then just now I told you larynx, which has a voice box, and it's in the throat where there is a protuberance, and it is also called Adam's apple. And this is actually very protruding because there is a kind of a bony casing. There's a case, kind of bony cartilage and muscles. It protects uh, and also houses the trachea. Right. So this is the articulatory system. One is roof of the mouth. When I say roof of the mouth, what all it consists of? Teeth, ridge, hard palate, soft palate, uvula. Then convex part near upper front teeth, that is called the alveolar ridge. Concave bony surface, which is called hard palate. Soft and fleshy, soft palate. Extreme end of the roof, uvula. So these are the various parts of the oral system or our oral cavity, which is responsible for this articulation. Right. Now, if no parallelism between the written form and pronunciation of sounds, how can we study these speech sounds, those speech sounds? So, I mean, here I'm trying to explain about the phonetic alphabet. Like, why do we have to study phonetics? What is the importance of phonetics? Phonetics is nothing but it's a sound which is made visible. Now, when I say just A, B, C, D, E, F, you will only see the letters. But what about the sound which is produced by these letters? They also have to be made visible to us. Now, if I just say A has almost 3 to 4 sounds. Okay, one single letter A comes up with 3 to 4 sounds. So if I write, for example, APPLE apple, then again I will write AUNT aunt. Now the person who reads apple will think that, oh, the same sound has to go for, because there is AUNT, there is an A here, I also have to pronounce the same A. So that's how, if it is apple, then the aunt is A is different, right? Then aunt, the person might pronounce it as ant again, isn't it? So in order to kind of uh, bring this kind of a, because the sounds are, there is a difference between these sounds, to know that, there is a difference in sound, though the letter is single, there is something called phonetic script or the phonetic symbol. That's the same thing happens with CH also. You call CH, CH is church. Then again, when you have CHORD, it is cord. So in CH in one, it says ch, in CH in another word, it says co. Then how are we going to pronounce it? So a layman, if at all somebody who doesn't know how to pronounce it, looks at the phonetic script, will definitely understand, because when it is ch, there is a different symbol for ch sound. Okay. And for k, there is a different symbol. So looking at the symbol, the person can understand the pronunciation of whether it is church and cord. Okay. So that is the importance of phonetic transcription, because there is a lot of variation in the pronunciations, though they use one single letter. Okay. Same thing I even told you yesterday about access. Okay. Also cell, cell, cell. It sounds S, sir sound comes there. Then again, if I say cat, 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 C comes there. So one is K and another one is sir. So there is a variation. So because there is a variation, there are symbols for those sounds. Based on the symbols, you can pronounce it. Right. So the solution to describe the sounds of a language like English is to produce a separate alphabet with symbols which represent sounds. Such a set of symbols is called the phonetic alphabet. Okay. Now, IPA, that is International Phonetic Association, has formulated something called a phonetic alphabet to have a system in which there was a one-to-one correspondence between each sound in language and each phonetic symbol. So hereafter, you will not get worried seeing that C sound in cat and then, or ch, ch or k kind of sounds, isn't it? Because each sound has a script or a symbol to it. So there's nothing to,
Kite,
yeah,
kite.
kite, exactly. Now look at this kite, K, but still we write the k sound for K, kite, and for cat also we write K sound only. Why? Because it's k sound, right? So you then hereafter you will not go by the letter. It's only by the sound and its symbol, right? Now here I spoke about the 44 sound symbols. Okay. 44 sounds are there in English. They are divided into monophthongs and vowel sounds and consonant sounds. Now, vowel sounds are out of 44, vowel sounds are 20, whereas consonant sounds are 24. The down, I think if you can look at the pink color or the brown color, whatever you call it as, it's actually consonant sounds. The upper, uh, the dark blue, and the other color is the vowel vowel sounds. Very good. So they're all vowel sounds are all together 20, consonants all together are 24. But in vowel sounds, it is divided into monophthongs and diphthongs. What are monophthongs? When you look at the sound of a word, there is only one sound of vowel in that, only single. That's why they are also called as pure vowels. Pure, pure. You don't see any other sound. Like, for example, if I say ship, ship, the vowel sound here is E. I see only E. So it's a pure vowel and a monophthong. So such monophthongs are 12 in number. Okay. Whereas if I say diphthong, there are two sounds you get to hear in a word. When I pronounce the word called, for example, boy. So when I pronounce this boy, you will hear two vowel sounds there. O, I. It comes like this. Oi. Okay. So it's actually my tongue is gliding from one sound to another sound of the vowel. It is gliding. That's why they are called vowels of glides or gliding vowels. And here you get to hear two sounds of vowels. That's why it is called diphthongs. Okay. Mono, single, diphthongs, two. Similarly, here you can see. Okay. Now, also you will have, even in monophthongs, you will have long and short vowels also. Okay. Long vowels, when you get to see two dots next to a vowel sound, it is long vowel. Okay. But still they all are into monophthongs only. You hear only one sound, but it is stretched a bit too long. Okay. Then when it is diphthong, you get to hear two sounds in a word. Right. Now the difference between phonetics and phonology. Phonetics deals with production, transmission and reception of all human speech sounds in general with no particular reference to any one language. Whereas phonology deals with the ways those sounds are organized in a particular language. It is subcategory of phonetics. Okay. Moreover, all these belong to the family of linguistics. Okay. They fall under the category of linguistics. I think I made this, I already told you just before I started my session, right? Articulatory, acoustics, and auditory phonetics. Okay. Now we are into articulatory phonetics, where the study of how speech sounds are made or articulated. Okay. Right. Now, when I talk about acoustics, phonetics is like, it's a physical properties of speech as sound waves in the air. Now, acoustic phonetics mostly you come across in certain forensic labs where they're, mostly in the criminal side. Say, for example, to analyze the speech sound, the variations and the vibrations of the speech, they use this kind of a mechanism. Okay. I mean, to detect some kind of a thing, or, then coming to vowels and consonants. I already told you about vowels and consonants, right? Now, why are they divided into vowels and consonants? Vowels, because the air, because of the, the constriction or the restriction or the stricture of airflow from the lungs, which I called it as pulmonic aggression. Okay. Both, whether it is vowels or consonant, it's based on pulmonic aggression only. Okay. That's a pulmonic aggressive articulation. The mechanism is called as. But then either even if it is vowel, it is the same thing. Even if it is a consonant, it is same thing. But why is it like divided into vowels and consonants? Is because in vowel sounds, the aggressive process or the pushing of the air goes out without any restrictions. There is no blockage. There is no stop, except for narrowing of the passage. Otherwise, there is absolutely no stoppage, no conclusion, no occlusion, okay, or no restriction of the airflow. And that's why they are called as vowel sounds. Whereas in consonant sounds, if you notice, to produce this consonant sound, if you utter a sound of consonant in a word, you will notice they are stopped at particular points. Either they are bilabial, either between between the lips, or it could be between teeth and lip, or it could be by the side of the tongue, they kind of come out the air. I mean, somewhere you see a kind of a stoppage, or even, sometimes there is a friction kind of a sound emitted. I mean, they try to stop it, but they don't actually stop it exactly, completely. So in consonants, this is what happens. Whereas in vowel sounds, that doesn't happen. But still, we can produce different varieties of sounds with the help of our tongue and teeth in vowels. I mean, for example, now when I say in diphthongs, we have seen the place of articulation and manner of articulation. But when it comes to a vowel, it is again, I think we have it after diphthongs. I'll be doing that. Okay. Okay. Again, when you look into the consonants, they are divided into whether they are voiced or voiceless. Now, voiced is, for example, I'll tell you, voiced, you can feel the vibrations on the throat when you put your hand, or voiceless, when you utter certain sounds, there is absolutely no vibration. Okay, I don't say absolutely, but much less vibration. So voiced and voiceless speech sound, there are certain sounds. Okay, for example, z, g are all voiced. When I say s, t, all these are voiceless. Okay. Now they are very gentle. I mean, you can see that there's a kind of a soft vibration, whereas for this, there's a harsh vibration. So their divided consonants are into voiced and voiceless. Now coming to the place of articulation where the vocal tract obstructed. Okay. I mean, where and all, which point there is an obstruction, the sound is given that name. If I say p, is a plosive, I will call p as a plosive sound. Why am I calling p? Like that, it is divided into so many other uh, uh, points, and other uh, definition is given to various other sounds. Now, p as a plosive. Why? Because when I am pronouncing p sound, I am trying to stop the airflow with my lips. Okay. And I'm trying, sorry, I am completely stopping it and then releasing it. Okay. That's why I call it as a plosive sound. P is a plosive sound. I'm not trying to say it is with the lips I'm stopping or where I'm stopping. Okay. It's like I am trying to obstruct the airflow using the, trying to stop it completely. Then again, if I am going to pronounce a kind of a sound called f, I am trying to stop it not completely, but trying to release it a little bit in a type of a friction. Okay, so this is how the consonants are divided as voiced, voiceless. Then place of articulation, then manner of articulation, how the vocal tract is obstructed. Okay. Now look at this, voiceless sounds and voiced sounds. Now b, v, d, z, j, j, g, the, all these are voiced sounds. Okay. Then voiceless is something where it's kind of very soft it is when you pronounce these sounds. Okay. F, t, s, cho, ch. I mean, sorry, ch, ka, th. Right. So in manners of articulation. In manner of articulation, either they are plosives. Okay. When the air is completely stopped, nasal, when the air is either coming out from the nose and the oral tract is closed, fricative, maybe slight kind of, a stoppage or slight release is there like with a friction. Affricative is nothing, just like a plosive where the release of air is slowly done, whereas in plosive it is at a go. In affricative, they do stop completely, but the release of air is very slowly. I mean, it is released very slowly. Then lateral, like in L sound where the air is released from the sides of the tongue. Okay. Then you have the glide and approximant. Okay. Right. Now stop, the first one, stop, is nothing but plosive. Okay. The another name for plosive is stop. Total occlusion. Okay, then followed by a release. Total stop, then followed by a release. For example, t, p, k. Okay, then when it comes to fricative, partial occlusion with frication noise. I mean, you will hear there's a kind of a friction. Sh, f, z, d, genre, z. Okay, then affricate, total stoppage with release followed by a partial occlusion with friction noise. Okay, like for example, John. See, it's completely stopped, not like zoo. Zoo and j, there's a difference, please remember. Zoo comes under fricative, j comes under affricate. J because you hear also, here it is total occlusion, that is total stoppage, j. And then partial release is there with friction noise, friction kind of a sound, ch. Then coming to lateral glide, flap. A flap is nothing but a tap. Only once you kind of hit the roof of the oral cavity, that is butter. Medal. Just once you hit it. Okay. And there is something called trill or roll where you keep hitting the roof again and again, where for the sound r. Okay. When it comes in the beginning of a word like rat, rub. But whereas if the r sound comes somewhere in the middle of the word, it is not like a trill or a roll. Okay. It just hits like a flap or a tap. The nasal, the sound when comes from the nose, right. Then place of articulation. Is like from where is that sound produced? Okay, we have understood that where and all the air is stopped. Okay, bilabials, the sounds formed using both upper and lower lips. Labiodentals, upper teeth and lower lip. Dentals, tip of the tongue and upper front teeth. Alveolars, the sound formed with the front teeth of the tongue on the alveolar ridge. Okay. Then alveopalatals, the sounds produced with the tongue at the very front of the palate near the alveolar ridge. Then the velars, again, the sounds produced with the back of the tongue against the velum. Glottal, the sounds produced without the active use of the tongue and the other parts of the mouth. Glottal is only with the glottal thing you kind of produce a sound. Okay. Now here it is. For example, I told you yesterday, glottals, ha. I mean, ha is like, with the glottal where there's no other part of the oral cavity or the articulators are involved in it. Right. Now look at this bilabials. b, m, labiodentals, f, v, interdentals, that is tip of the tongue between the teeth, th and th, then the palatals, velars, when the back of the tongue to the soft palate of velum, it's called velar. Uvula produced by back of the tongue to the uvula. G, k, for the Q sound, k, question, question. If you look at it at the back of it, it kind of glottals also, similar thing. And then comes, I think we've done this, fricative, affricate, frictionless, nasal, lateral, trill, tap. Right. So again, vowels, as I told you, pure vowels, they are 12 in number. 5 are long vowels, 7 are short vowels. Okay. And the above, if you can see the first line, 7 short vowels over here, their corresponding, the words are given here. You can check them. This stands for E, pin, pet, man, cup, hat, wood, above. Okay. Right. So this is what is monophthong, when you get to see here only one sort of sound in a word. For example, teeth, E, the long vowel sound. That's it. That's called a monophthong or a pure vowel. A diphthong. Now this is diphthong, comes from a Greek word which means having 2 sounds. So they are also called gliding sounds. Okay, gliding vowels. Which actually, it's a combination of 2 vowels in a single syllable, in which the sound begins as 1 vowel and moves towards another. House, if I say house, and oo, right? 9, and now you have 8 vowel glides here. It's like A, okay? Then you have, okay, this is day, right? And another word, if the second diphthong, if you look at the second A with the symbol of A and E, it's like, it is like I, prize, okay? Then the next one, it's oi, boy. The third word is boy, or you can even say coin, okay? Then the next one is house, okay? How, or you can even say it as how, house. Then you have tour. The other one is ua, ua, tour. Then the centering one, where you get to see the centering one, it is air, air, care, right? And the other one is under the centering, the second one is near. It can be near. Yeah. So this is what is diphthong, where we stopped yesterday. So when we move from one vowel sound to another, such as the oi in oil, it's called gliding. Okay. Then now the characteristics of vowels, how do you figure it out? Like whether they're voiced or voiceless. Then the height of the tongue. Please remember, whenever you're pronouncing a vowel, mostly the tongue and the lip is being considered for the vowel sounds. Okay. It's like this. The height of the body of the tongue. Okay. There are 4 positions, the height of the tongue. One is when it is in a normal position towards the normal close position, it is called close. Towards the rest, it is called close. And then once I'll show you. If you can turn to page number I'll show you the figure which is given in your book. Yeah, figure number 104. 104. Okay. Here. Now I'll tell you how it goes actually. The tongue, when it is touching on the hard palate up above, I mean, it doesn't touch actually, but then it goes very close to it. Okay. Then the tongue is called, it's in a closed position. Okay. The tongue is in a, when you are pronouncing a vowel, when it touches the roof, not exactly, it doesn't touch completely, but very close to it, then it is called close. Okay. Then when it is absolutely in a normal position, it is called open. Open in the sense when it is at the base. I mean, in a normal position, it is open. So there are two positions called open and close. When the tongue is onto the top of the palate, it's close. Again, there are two more positions in between. One is half close and half open. Now, for example, if you lift your tongue a little up, then it is called half close. Then towards the palate, not completely, somewhere in between, it is called half open. Okay. Now, there are certain vowel sounds. You know, then not only the tongue, the height of the tongue, also the place of the tongue. Is it the tip of the tongue which is touching the palate, or there is a, and it is called, tip is called as a front of the tongue. Then the middle of the tongue, the back of the tongue. Okay, the three positions on the tongue hit the palate. Okay, and accordingly, either they, I mean, they don't hit completely. Again, I told you the positions, these four positions, the tongue, either front of the tongue, middle of the tongue, back of the tongue, either in the closed position or the open, or half closed or half open. Okay. Then the lips, whether they are rounded. For example, if I say water, okay, or if I say feet, e, or if I say, for example, apple, a. When I say a, how are the lips? Are they rounded or unrounded? So these are the three things which go into the description, the three-term description of a vowel. What are they? The height of the tongue, okay, and the position of the place of the tongue, whether it is central, back, or the front of the tongue, or the lips which are rounded and unrounded. Okay. One second, I'll give you some vowels. Like for example, oo. Oo, you please tell me based on these three. Oo, oo. How do you call it? How do you? Oo. If I have to describe it in three terms. Oo. Yeah. If I have to pronounce this vowel sound, oo is rounded lips. Okay. And it is just above half close rounded vowel. Okay. It's a back. Back, when I say back, what am I trying to tell you? Back means backside of the tongue. Now, for example, page number 103, please all of you turn to page number 103. Got it? On to the left-hand side on the top, you can notice there is a list of vowels and what are they called as. Now, for example, E, a long E sound. If I call it as, it's a front, close, unrounded vowel. Now tell me, what do I mean by this? E is a front, close, unrounded vowel. Come on, I've given three factors here. You please tell me quickly. Yeah? Try, at least try. Now here I've given the three, this thing. Front. When I say front, the 3 points on the tongue, what did I tell you? Front, middle, back. So here when I'm producing the sound of vowel E, it is the front part of the tongue. And then again I say close. What is close? That the tongue is towards the normal position. It is called, towards the palate, it is called close, isn't it? So E. Now you yourself pronounce and see how is the tongue and how are your lips. Are the lips rounded or unrounded? When I say E. Hurry up, tell me quickly.
Unrounded.
Unrounded, very good. Now did you all open to page 103? Are you all in 103? Those who have the books? On the top left-hand side, you can see. Can you see? Yeah? Yes or no? I need to get some answer from you. Can you see? Do you all have your books with you? Okay. Now look at these vowels. The first one, beat, is the front vowel. Okay. Then I say about, it's a central vowel. Back vowels are boot. Now what do I mean by front vowel, central vowel, back vowel? Please tell me quickly. Yeah? The sounds which are produced front of the tongue, it's called front vowel. Middle of the tongue, it is called central vowel. Back of the tongue, it's called back vowel. Please remember. Are you able to follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
I think everyone is busy with their books and they are not even.
Okay, right. Okay. Now, yesterday somebody asked me for audio thing. Who is it? Can you just tell me? Who was that? Madam, if at all we have an audio of the phonetics, it would be very nice. Who was it? Somebody asked me. Yeah? You all asked me or not?
Not me, but it would be nice, ma'am.
Okay. Now here we are going into the audio of that just for a few minutes. Okay. Otherwise we'll be falling short of time. Right. Now you will have to tell me whether you can see the screen or not. We are going to hear something. Audio now. Audio of phonetics. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Wow. Very good. So what do you see on the screen?
Consonants, vowels.
Wow.
Diphthongs.
Very good. So now we are going to practice, listen to the consonant sounds. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Let me just. And I think you also can hear the sound along with me. If you can't, you please let me know. Now, whenever you are listening to it, you also have to watch this word as well as its transcription here. Then only you will understand the sound. Okay? You can see both, no? A word and a transcription. Both are there. Chalo. Now listen. Can you hear?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No.
I mean, I stopped now, but didn't you hear the first one?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, let me just see now. 1 second. Now? Can you hear?
No.
No, ma'am. Not audible.
Okay. Right. Otherwise, I'll do one thing. I'll share this link with you of this audio thing. Maybe you can listen to it at leisure. Is that fine? Or maybe after, towards the end, I will try to work on that. Okay?
Sure,
yeah.
ma'am.
Right. Looks like I have to activate some other auditory thing in your, I think in your screen sharing thing, or there is an option, I think so. I need to check that. Maybe later on okay. We are moving into Unit 9, word accent in English. Okay, can you just tell me what is word accent? Yeah, you've heard about this word accent?
Accent is a style of speaking.
Pronunciation style, style, the way how we pronounce.
Okay. And yes?
Way of pronunciation.
Very good. Way of pronunciation. Okay, that means an accent, basically what goes in it. It's a stress. Now, this is what we're going to learn in this Unit 9. Okay. There is a kind of a stress on a word, and accordingly you pronounce it. Yes or no? Now, when you look at a word, you kind of lay a lot of stress on one particular syllable. Now, you must be wondering, what is this syllable ma'am is talking about? So, word is made up of syllables. You all know that. I will teach you about syllables also now. So, an accent is a stress or an emphasis on a particular part of something, usually a word. Now, it comes from a Latin accentus. Okay, this word accent comes from Latin word accentus, which means the intonation of singing. Okay, and we use accent for different kinds of emphasis in speech. And what is the mark which shows that it is a stressed kind of a word? There's a kind of a a small vertical line you see drawn over the word. Have you ever noticed this? It indicates there's a stress. That is the place where you have to stress it, isn't it? So in some foreign languages, the mark above a letter is an accent that signals how to pronounce it. So, and it is also called as the word stress or a lexical stress. Now, in a particular language system, word accent may be fixed or predictable, whereas in English, it is not so. Word accent, when you look at the word, for nouns, it is differently accented. I mean, it is differently stressed. In verbs, it is differently. But whereas if you look at French, it, where it occurs regularly at the end of the word. But whereas in English, it is not so. Okay, even in Czech also. Czech, the language of Czechoslovakia, where it occurs initially. In French, it is at the end, and Czech, it is at the initial, in the beginning itself. But whereas in English, it keeps changing. You all know what is a mark, a stress mark on a word? Yes?
Where we stress.
Yes. Haven't you seen in the dictionary, there's a kind of a vertical line on top of the a word, not on either at the beginning of the word or the middle of the word. Haven't you come across? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's called a stress. Okay? Right. Now, coming to the syllable. Right. Now, a word comprises of syllable. What is a syllable? Please tell me. Yeah? It's a... Okay. Do you all know a syllable is like a kind of a word where, it's a kind of a smaller unit of a word where it contains a vowel sound in it? You know that at least? Yeah? No. So a syllable is a unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants, forming the whole or a part of a word. Every syllable must have at least one vowel. Syllables may have two vowels if they are a pair and one is silent, such as head. Okay. In head, which is the silent syllable there? A silent vowel sound there? Head.
Yeah.
A is silent.
A.
Very good. Very good. So remember, any syllable, whenever you name it as a syllable, it should have one vowel sound. Okay. Now, head has single, though there are two vowels over there, but you can hear only one vowel sound. Did you notice? He. He means A only I can hear. I cannot hear the other A sound, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Now, what about air? A. Yeah. Air. Okay. Now look at the examples of single syllable. Hat. How many syllables are there in that?
One syllable.
One syllable. Water. How many syllables?
Two.
Very good. Afternoon.
3, ma'am.
3. So syllables based on their kind of, please remember, do not count the vowels in that. You have to count the sound pattern. You get to hear there's a shift in the, now for example, water. I will split it saying that water. See, I'm not saying R sound there. Water. Water. R, and when it comes at the end, you should never pronounce it. Okay. That's a silent thing in the phonetics. That's how, if you look at the phonetic transcription of water, it will be wa and ta. That's it. Okay. Okay. Now tell me water. Wa is one syllable. Ta is another syllable. Okay. Same thing. That's why it is two syllables. Now, when I say hat, hat, one syllable. Now, after noon. Did you see the breakup of the word? That's why I call it as 3 syllables. Okay. Right. Now, when I break it into single or double or triple, one syllable, it is called as monosyllabic word. If it is 2 syllables, what is it called?
Syllable.
Disyllable word. Disyllabic word. If it is 3,
Trisyllabic.
excellent, excellent. If it is more than 3,
Polysyllabic.
very good. Polysyllabic. No, you know something? There are certain words which are polysyllabic. I mean, more than 3. So till 1, it is monosyllabic, where you find only one syllable there. For example, rat, cat, but. Okay. Now, for example, if, wait, as I proceed, I'll tell you. Then look at this word stress here. So when I am pronouncing a word, there is a kind of a stress. Okay. I have to ensure that, because as per the native speaker, as per the pronunciation of the received pronunciation or the British English, a word has a particular stress. I mean, I have to use a lot of emphasis on that particular part of the word. For example, teacher. Where am I putting the stress on? Yeah. Okay. Before that, please tell me, teacher. How many syllables are there?
2.
Very good. Excellent. So I am stressing on which syllable?
T.
No. Tell me as per the number. No.
E.
What she said, T is correct. But is it the first or the second? That you please.
Second, ma'am.
The first. Yeah. As per the syllable. Okay. No, call it as first as of now on the screen. Let me take it this way. Otherwise, we have to be, counting from the last, actually speaking. From the last, we call it as the first syllable, second syllable, and third syllable. But now you please tell me, where is this?
First one.
Yeah, T. Right? Okay.
Yes.
Now tell me the second one. Beautiful. How many syllables are there in this?
3, madam.
3. Very good. Where am I stressing?
First one.
Very good. Beautiful. So what do I mean by stress? I should use some kind of a force on that particular part of a word. Now, for example, if I say beautiful. Now, if I don't use the stress, I'll say Beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, don't you find it really, I mean, not very, I mean, you can figure out the difference, isn't it? It's not the right kind of a pronunciation. So if I say
Yes.
beautiful, look at this. Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah,
Stress.
stress is there.
and first one.
Okay, right. Next, understand. How many syllables?
3.
3 syllables. And where is the stress?
Last one.
Oh, understand. I'll say understand. I will not say understand. Do I say that? No. Understand. Don't I emphasis on the last one? Understand?
Yes.
Don't you hear this? And it is also rising up if you've noticed. Understand?
Yes.
I'm insisting on the last syllable. Okay? Right.
Yeah.
Next. Continue. How many syllables? Trisyllabic. Very good. Where is the stress?
Middle one.
Very good. The second one. Right.
Yeah.
Now, look at my pronunciation. When T is stressed, it will go on top. Okay? Remember. Continue. Hear my word correctly. Continue. Am I not stressing on T?
Yes.
Continue. Okay? So, if you pronounce this word continue, T should be pronounced. In understand, stand as stressed. Beautiful, beautiful is beau is stressed. Teacher, T is stressed. Got it?
Yes.
Yes. Right. So when a syllable is stressed, it is pronounced longer in duration, higher in pitch, louder in volume. Right. Now look at this. If a word is 2 syllables, for nouns, it is always the stress is on the first syllable. Please, I'm saying as syllable. Why? Because when I pronounce the word center, you break it into syllables and tell me one of you please, center. Break it into syllables and tell me, center, word.
Center.
Center. So please remember, whenever you break the word into syllables, use the process of clapping. See, center, like this, clap method. Use the clap method. Okay. Any word, you clap and see how you can split it into syllables. Okay. Another one I'll tell you.
Object.
You please. Object. Object. And one more thing, did you notice? Both these syllables have a vowel sound in that. Did you notice?
Yes.
Not just the vowel sound also I'm talking about. Yeah?
Yes,
Sen, and not just vowel sound, even consonants are there on either side or one of the side consonants are there. Did you notice? So
yes,
basically, whenever you look for a syllable, vowel and vowel sound is very, very important to label it as a syllable. Okay. So this is right. Now, what am I trying to tell you is these are all 2 syllable words. But for nouns, please remember always the first syllable is stressed. Okay. You can see the red color. Object. Yeah. And flower. Flower. Okay. Next, if it's a verb, 2 syllable word, but if it's a verb, it will be always on the last syllable. This is a rule, ma. Please remember, in English, a noun always takes up the first syllable stress, whereas a verb always the last. Release, release, admit, okay, admit, arrange. The last one. Did you notice this? Yeah. Now, if it is a compound, if they are nouns on the first part, compound words means there are 2 words in that. Okay. If it is a noun on the first part, that is desktop, pencil case, bookshelf, greenhouse. Now, if it's an adjective, on the last part, the verb part, if it's an adjective. And verb, of course, we all know, again, always the last part of it. Okay. A compound word of an adjective, you see, well-meant, hard-headed, old-fashioned, old-fashioned. Don't we say that? Old-fashioned. Okay. Then understand, overlook, outperform. Got it? Okay. Now, for example, I'm trying to give you some rules of the stress. If it's a phrasal verb on the particle, like turn off, off should be stressed. Buckle up, hand out. Okay. Now, if at all word with added ending, ick. Please remember, if there is a word with IC, then the syllable which comes just before that IC is given the stress. Now, these rules are given in your textbook also. And please remember, the last syllable is called an ultimate. Okay? And the middle syllable is called as a penultimate. And the first syllable, I mean, from the word in the first, whatever it is called anti-penultimate. So tell me, what is the last syllable called as?
Ultimate.
Ultimate. A syllable just before the ultimate? Second but one. Penultimate. And the first one? Anti-penultimate. These three terms you have to remember. Now, based on that, you please tell me if the word is getting an additional suffix of IC, economic, which is the syllable stressed?
Ultimate.
Is it the ultimate or penultimate?
Ultimate.
No, economic. Mick is the ultimate.
Penultimate.
Mick. Very
Economic
good.
penultimate.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Now tell me, electrical. Electrical. Is it penultimate? You pronounce the word, you please tell me. Electrical. Three syllable. Electrical. Okay.
Yes.
Now tell me which syllable. Which one is it? Is it ultimate, penultimate, or anti-penultimate?
Penultimate.
Penultimate is just before that CAL. TRI. Anti-penultimate. Very good. So this is how the stress pattern differs for various word types. If it's a phrasal, it's different. If it is TION, it is different. It is SION, it is different. Now, for example, cohesion. Just before shun and cian, it comes up. The stress comes in. Okay? Like, for example, cohesion. Shun, just before shun, it will be there. Okay? Just before the ultimate syllable, he comes in. Okay? Then graduation. Just before the shun, Asian. A comes in, isn't it? Okay. Now another one. Okay, let me just try with this. Words with added ending of say ER. METER. Okay, meter, parameter, thermometer, barometer, where the third from the last syllable is stressed. For example, parameter. How many syllables are there in parameter?
4.
4. Very good. It's a polysyllabic word. Now, in this 4 syllables, which syllable is stressed? Number you tell me. At least number you tell me.
Second one.
No. Call it as third. From the last, you have to count. Chalo, count it from the last and tell me.
4.
From the last, you have to count. Parameter. Last. Count from the last. From the end of the word.
Third one.
Yes, very good. Yes. Okay. Now next. Barometer. Barometer. Here also 4 syllables. Now tell me which syllable is stressed?
Third.
Very good. The third one. Please count it from the last. me, ro. 1,
Okay.
2, 3. Third
Okay.
syllable. So this is a hard and fast rule. Anything with this additional suffixes here, this is how the stress will be. Okay. Okay. Now you also have to remember there is a kind of a stress even in the sentences also. Now we were looking into the word stress, isn't it? The stress of the syllable within the word. Now when you are talking about a sentence, you will also see certain words are stressed. Now I'm not talking about syllables. Now syllable story is over. Okay. Word story is over. Now words all put together forms sentence. Now if I am talking in a sentence, there are certain words specifically stressed. Yes or no? You agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, for example, I'll ask you a sentence. You yourself can tell me, where am I stressing? Okay?
Okay.
Right. Can you follow me? Can you follow me? This is a sentence I'm asking you.
Follow.
Can.
Can you
Can.
follow me? Follow me? Follow. You're right. My main question was whether you people are able to follow what I'm explaining. So follow is the word which I'm going to stress. Same thing. For example, you might be asking your friends. Yeah. Hey, are you coming tomorrow? So which word
Hey.
you'll be stressing?
Coming.
Tomorrow.
Coming
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Tomorrow. Are you coming tomorrow? Yeah. Why? Because you're very much keen on knowing and curious to know whether that person is coming tomorrow or not. Yeah.
Yes.
So there is a kind of a stress in the sentence also, where so sentence stress is what gives English its rhythm or beat. You remember that word stress is accent on one syllable within a word. Sentence stress is accent on certain words within a sentence. Okay. Now, please remember, every time you try to stress a word in a sentence, it is always the content words which get stressed. You know, there are two different types of words. Okay. What are they? Content words and structure words. Structure words are nothing but the grammatical words. No? Yes or no? Whereas
Yes,
content words are the words which are the main words of the key words of the sentence. Like, for example, the structure words might be is, in, and, but, if. All these, the grammatical sentences, they are also called form words. They are not, they're not much stressed. The stress goes only with the content words. Okay. So content words are the key words of a sentence. They are the important words that carry the meaning of or the sense. Structure words are not very important words. They are small, simple words that make the sentence correct grammatically. If you remove the structure words from a sentence, you will probably still understand the sentence. Okay. Right. Okay. Now look at this. Please watch carefully. Imagine that you receive this telegram message. Sell. Now these are all content words. There is no grammar thing inside that. They are the ones which connect, no? These content words. Sell, car, gone, France. So now if I ask you to complete this, sell my car, I've gone to France. See, you can still understand the sentence if I just give you the content words. Did you get my point?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Will you sell my car because I've gone to France? Now these are stressed. If you notice, will you sell my car because I've gone to France? Now content words are stressed and they are the ones which make sense of a sentence. Okay. Right. Now the basic rules of sentence stress are: content words are stressed, structure words are unstressed. The time between stressed words is always the same. Now, these are some of the examples of unstressed structure words. Okay, like pronouns. He, we, they are all unstressed. Please look at this table here. The verbs, main nouns, adjectives, adverbs, negative auxiliaries. All these are words which carry some kind of a meaning. So they are stressed. Now the words which are unstressed are, I mean, without that also you can still understand the sentence. So hence they are not stressed. They are unstressed structure words. Clear? Like for example, he, we, they, on, at, into, a, and, but, because, do, we, all these words. Clear? So please follow the slide. One of the entities of linguistics is word accent. A word in all languages is made up of one phoneme or more than one phoneme. In phonetics, accent stress means expanding extra breath on a particular syllable in a word. It's a matter of greater prominence and greater audibility. Accent is very important to make your speech intelligible. The prominent syllable in a word is called the strong or accented syllable. The syllable in a word without prominence is called weak or unaccented syllable. Now, these are disyllabic words. And I already told you, whether it is tri, di, or mono, whatever it is, nouns take up the stress on the first syllable, whereas the verbs on the last syllable. Likewise. Okay. So here, one second. Now, derive words in which there is no shift in the word accent. What does it mean? Now, for example, in beauty, where is the stress? On the first, yeah, b sound, beauty. Okay, beau takes the stress, not the b sound, but beau.
Yes.
T is the next syllable. But then if I modify it, beautify, so also the stress is here only. Okay, so these are actually derived words where there is no shift in the word accent. Now, if I say behave, if have is accented, so also in behavior, again, behavior is accented. Did you notice?
Yeah, ma'am.
So these are certain words where right. Now, in most of the compound words, the accent falls on the first of the two words forming the compound. Please remember, air gun, it's a compound word. The first word should be always stressed. Okay. Now, this is again the, kind of rules when the compound words which have self and ever as the second element are accented on the second element. Okay, like ourselves, selves is accented. However, ever is accented. Okay, himself, self. Right. So here we have intonation in syllable. So what do you mean by intonation? Yeah, you've heard about tone? Yes.
Way of pronunciation.
Very good. Way of saying a statement. Very good. Yes. The tone of the sentence. For example, somebody says something, then you'll be able to figure out whether the person is angry, whether the person is tired by the way he speaks, the tone of the statement. You'll be able to figure out, and that is called intonation. It's the melody of the sentence. Now, if somebody is in a very, angry mood, what kind of a sentence, how the tone would be? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. So there is a kind of a change in the tone pattern for various things. For request, it is different. For demand, it is where there's a variation. For command, For for being very rude, there's something, and for being polite, there's some way of saying. So that's called intonation. So it's created by changes in the pitch of the voice. Now, by sentence stress and by rhythm occur at more or less equal intervals. Okay. So the voice goes higher and lower, remains on the same level, rises or falls. This is how there will be a change in the intonation. Right. Now, coming to the tonic syllable. Now, for example, the first, if I say you, is it you? When I say this, the third syllable is more prominent than the other two and carries a rising tone. If, please remember, when you talk about this intonation and the tonic pattern, either it is low, high, fall, or it can be a rise, and then a rise, fall, and a rise. It can be this way. Okay, I'll explain that in the future slides. So the third syllable is more prominent than the other two and carries a rising tone. Now look at this. You, is it you? Did you notice this? Yeah, you can see, read that sentence. I mean, the last one I'm trying to rise it. I mean, it's like a query for me. You, is it you? It's an utterance of 3 syllables consisting of 1 tone unit. So a syllable which carries a tone will be called a tonic syllable. So the you, which is it you? So you is a tonic syllable there. It's called as a tonic syllable. Okay.
Okay.
And in a tone group, when which contains more than 1 syllable, there is 1 syllable that stands out prominently out of the rest syllables and initiates a major change in pitch direction. This is tonic syllable. Now, the postman didn't come yesterday. Have you met him before? Now, look at this. One word, that stands out in particular. Now, for example, the postman didn't come yesterday. What do you find? Which is the thing which is standing out?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Who did not come? The postman. What are we worried about? That he didn't come yesterday. That's the main point over there. Okay. Now, another thing. Have you met him before? I mean, we know that you know that person. So we want to know, have you met him before? So what is it which is standing out in that sentence?
Before.
Before. So that's a tonic syllable, right? Now coming to the nuclear tone. Now this tone is a kinetic tone, okay, carried by the tonic syllable or the nucleus. In tone group, this tone creates major change in pitch direction. Now, for example, just now I told you about the tonic syllable, okay, where, the variation of, so the nuclear tone is nothing but it is the change of pitch happens at that particular point, okay. So that's a very important syllable in that sentence, from where you either try to kind of low fall or kind of have something high fall or high rise. I mean, there is a kind of a change in the tone at that particular point. Okay, so this tone is a kinetic tone. That's why it's called a kinetic tone, which carries by the tonic syllable or the nucleus in tone group. Now, this tone creates major change in pitch direction. This can be of several types, mainly 6 types: high fall, low fall, high rise, low rise, fall rise, and rise fall. Okay. Now, what are the functions of intonation? So, these are the major functions of intonation. One is attitudinal function, accentual function, grammatical functions, discourse functions. Now, when I say attitudinal function of the intonation, now when I say a sentence, it allows us to express emotions, finality, confidence, interest, surprise, doubt, joy, pain, irony, etc. So, by the change in the pitch of my voice with the intonation, I am able to express my attitude, my emotions, yes or no? Or my, kind of joy or pain, irony. Now, when you are happy, don't you change the pitch of the voice? Yes? Yes. Otherwise, what happens? you speak like a robot. How does a robot speak? Without any variations in the speech. Have you ever heard the robotic speech? Yeah? Yeah? It sounds like that. No, but we are human beings. So we have a sort of change and variations in the pitch, and that's called intonation. And the functions of intonation is, one of them is attitudinal function, the accentual function. So what does it mean? Your placement of stress is somewhat determined by intonation. I mean, you know what you want, where you want, how you want. So depending on that, what is accentual? I mean, you know where to stress the word in that particular tone group. Okay. So the placement of stress is somewhat determined by intonation. Now, for example, I want to ask you all, say, for example, I want to ask you whether you've submitted the assignment. Okay. Then if I want to, if it is an accentual function, where will I lay the stress on? Yeah. Which word of my sentence? Have you all submitted the assignment? Where should I lay the stress?
Assignment.
Assignment.
Assignment or submitted?
Submitted.
That is very important there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes,
Submission of the assignment is very important. Yeah. Have you all submitted your assignment? Okay. So accentual. So whatever is important for me, I will try to change the pitch accordingly. Right. Now the grammatical functions. Okay. The listener is better able to recognize the grammar and syntax structure of what is being said by using the information contained in the intonation. For example, the placement of boundaries between phrases, clauses, and sentences, and the difference between questions and statements. You all know, no, isn't it? Grammatical functions. For example, if it's a tag question, you all had your lunch, isn't it? It's a tag question, isn't it? You'll be able to understand the grammatical functions of my intonation of my statement. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Yeah, yeah. Next. Look at this. When I say it's risky, it's a
Fall tone.
huh? High fall. It's high fall. Okay. It's risky. Next, you'd better go at once.
Better go. Better.
You'd better go at once. I mean, look at the yeah. You'd better go at once. It's again a fall. You'd better go at once. At once. Once. Okay. Wait, I'll show you some more slides where how you can, figure out. 1 second. So here intonation is what? How we say things rather than what we say. The way the voice rises and falls when speaking. In other words, the music of the language is nothing but intonation. Okay. Then there are, what are the basic, 1 second, patterns of intonations, that is falling intonation and rising intonation. And falling tone, which is commonly found in statements, commands, WH questions, confirmatory questions tags, and exclamations. Okay. For example, falling tone, please look at these example. Falling tone. Nice to meet you. It's a sentence. Okay. Then write your name here. Command. Write your name here. Whose bag is this? WH question. These are all the examples of falling tones. Okay. Then you have, it doesn't seem to bother him much. Does it? Question tag. It's a falling tone. How nice of you. Exclamations. Again, it's a falling tone. Now, rising tone. Look at the rising tone. Rising intonation invites the speaker to continue talking. It's normally used with yes, no questions and question tags that are real questions. Do you like your new teacher? Can you see my tone, which is rising up?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you finished already? Have you finished already? Okay. May I borrow your dictionary? Do you have any magazines? I mean, it's quite high. Do you sell stamps? Right. Now, question tags are also again rising tone over here. We've met already. Haven't we? These are question tags. Okay. Haven't we? You like fish, don't you? You're a new student, aren't you? The view is beautiful, isn't it? It's a rising tone. Okay. Now, the combination of two tones. We've seen falling tone, we've seen rising tone. Now, there are statements where you will have both, a combination of both. We sometimes use a combination of rising and falling intonation in the same sentence. So the combination is called rise fall or fall rise. What do I mean by rise fall? The sentence will rise and then fall at the end. Now, when I say fall rise, from the lower level, it starts to rise. I mean, it will fall and then rise. That's called fall rise intonation. Okay. Now, we use rise fall intonation for choices, for lists, unfinished thoughts, and conditional sentences. Look at this. Rise fall. Does he speak German or French? That's a choice-based question. So you will have rise and fall. Did you notice this?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, I like football, tennis, basketball, and volleyball. That will go down. I like
Yes.
football, tennis, basketball, and volleyball. That's a list. For lists also, there's a combination tone. Okay. Now, when do you like my new handbag? Well, the leather is nice, but I don't like it. The leather is nice. See, the leather, the fall and rise, and then it will fall. Now, unless he insists, see this, there's a rise in the tone. Unless he insists, I am not going to go. It's a conditional sentence for that rise and fall. Okay. So now fall rise intonation. The main function of the fall rise intonation is to, so far we have seen rise fall. Now it is fall and rise. The main function of fall rise intonation is to show that the speaker is not certain of the answer they are giving to a question, or he is reluctant to reply. It's also used in polite requests or suggestions. So you'd be willing to confirm that. Well, I suppose so. Reluctance. So it's fall, rise. You know, when you are speaking, sometimes you are too exhausted. So don't you come up with these kind of sentences? Oh, so she said she'll be coming tomorrow. Hopefully. Don't you say this? Yeah? Yeah. It will fall, then rise. Okay? You didn't see him on Monday. I don't quite remember. Remember. So it's falling and then rising. Yeah? Got it, all of you? This is a combination of fall and rise. Yeah, any doubts here?
It's all British pronunciation.
Yes, yes, very much British pronunciation.
Okay.
Because we actually follow this. And when it comes to the stress and accent and intonation, sometimes there is a kind of a similarity as well as there's a difference between American and British, but still we go by the British pronunciation only. So accordingly, we learn the stress, accordingly, we learn the intonation and so on. Okay, up till now, is it clear, ma, whatever I've taught you? So with this, we finish unit up to unit 10. Okay, intonation in English. In the next class, we'll start with block 3, the word. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, block 3. And that comprises of 3 units. It has 11, 12, and 13. Okay? So next class, it's all about the word. And we'll also come across the morphology of the word and the building of the word. the process involved in it. Then also the growth of vocabulary, the word power in English, how the words have, how the word or the vocabulary is enhanced in English, how the new words have joined, were added to it, how the vocabulary has been enriched. All these is covered in Unit 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so next Saturday, it will be block 3, and next Sunday would be block 4. Then the coming, that means it's 30th, I think, so 29th and 30th. One of the 29th would be block 5, and then the last day would be just the revision of your, maybe if you have any doubts or anything, you can clarify. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So I'll, one second. I'll call Madhuri ma'am as promised. Okay? One second, hold on.
Yes, sir. I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to just remember.
Yeah. I remember. Hold on.
పార్క్ కంట పో
Regarding what?